Hello students, welcome to AriserTalent. As you know, we are studying very important chapter of NCERT, that is life process, and already we have discussed important topic like structure of nephron in our previous lecture. So here we already know that we are studying the topic excretion in the life process. Okay, so as I told you, we have already studied the structure of nephron. Now we are going to talk about the physiology of that excretion, that how the excretion takes place in the human body. Okay, so generally we all know that kidneys helps to clean the blood. Okay, the blood which comes from the heart, then these kidneys help to clean the blood and they form the urine. So here we all know, in my previous lecture as well I told you that nephron are the structural and functional unit of the kidneys because they help to clean the blood and to form the urine in the kidney. Fine, so here let me explain you. First of all, I must say that kidneys filter blood. Kidneys filter blood which comes from heart, okay, and form urine and form urine. Okay, and this process of complete process of forming the urine, or we must say of filtering the blood, is complete, or it takes place into the three processes. What are they? So these are the ultrafiltration, okay, then reabsorption, and then tubular secretion. Okay, so here we can say that the cleaning or filtering of blood and formation of urine completes in three stages. They are ultrafiltration, reabsorption and tubular secretion. So first of all, we will talk about the ultrafiltration. Yes, here you can see the structure of nephron, which already I have explained you in my previous lecture. So now we are going to talk about the complete process of filtration here. So here you can see that the renal artery is present here, which generally arise from the dorsal aorta. Okay, so this renal artery goes into the kidney. Fine, then it divides into the numerous small vessels which are generally known as arterioles, or also known as afferent arterioles. Okay, clear? Means the renal artery which arise from the dorsal aorta, they goes into the kidney here. This is the part of kidney because nephron is the structural and functional unit of the kidney. Fine. So here we can say that the renal artery goes into the kidney and then it divides into the small numerous vessels which are known as afferent arterioles. Clear? This afferent arterioles bring the blood to the kidney. Fine. Now this afferent arteriole goes into the Bowman's capsule, and here it further divides, okay, and forms many capillaries which are generally known as glomerulus. Fine. These glomerulus forms the knot, okay, and then they form afferent arteriole. Clear? Then these afferent arterioles again forms the network of capillaries around the renal tubules. Okay, this is the complete process. Now what happens, whatever the blood they bring, actually the capillaries, the function of the capillaries is to bring the blood, or we must say they return the blood which contains useful material. Okay, so these capillaries brings the or returns the blood into the renal vessels, okay, and then they join together to form renal veins. Fine. Now what happens here when the blood returns here in the glomerulus? Okay, now here the blood pressure is very high. Okay, and this is the reason, just because of the high blood pressure or high pressure, or we must say high hydrostatic pressure, what happens? The plasma that high hydrostatic pressure causes the plasma to ooze out from the glomerulus to the Bowman's capsule. Okay. Now, along with those plasma molecules, like I must say organic and inorganic molecules of urea, then they also move to the Bowman's capsule, and the other substances like plasma protein, okay, RBC, WBC, platelets, they remain here in the blood only, okay, or they remain here in the glomerulus. Fine. So this is the process of ultrafiltration. Now, as I told you, the another process is reabsorption. Fine. So here, when the blood goes into the renal tubule, fine, what happens there? Then the process of reabsorption takes place here in the proximal convoluted tubule, means PCT. Okay, this is the complete part of proximal convoluted tubule. So, when the blood reaches into the renal tubule, here the absorption of important minerals or whatever the essential substances were there in the blood, okay, they are absorbed here in the proximal convoluted tubule. Now, the thing is, another part is excretion or tubular secretion. So, this is the third part. Now, this part takes place here in the distal convoluted tubule. Means whatever the unwanted materials are there, they are secreted out of the tubules. So this process is known as tubular secretion, because it is done by the tubules only. So this is the reason it's known as tubular secretion. So this is the complete mechanism of filtration of blood and formation of urine. Fine. So let me clear you ultrafiltration. First of all, we are going to talk about ultrafiltration. Okay, so here nephrons helps to clean the blood and it completes in 3 stages. It completes in 3 stages. So first of all, we are going to talk about ultrafiltration. Number 1 is ultrafiltration. Okay, what is this ultrafiltration? That the renal, we must say that the renal artery which arises from the dorsal aorta goes into the kidney, and then it divides into small vessels. These vessels are generally known as glomerular capillaries. Okay, so let me mention ultrafiltration. The renal, already I have explained you, the renal artery from dorsal aorta enters into the kidney, and divides into small vessels called afferent arterioles. Okay. These afferent arterioles goes into the, where here you can see these arterioles or afferent arterioles again goes into the Bowman's capsule, and then they further divides and then they form capillaries. These capillaries forms the nodes, and they form the glomerulus. Okay, let me mention the afferent arterioles bring blood. These afferent arterioles brings the blood into the kidney. Okay, then they further divides and forms capillaries. These arterioles, these arterioles further divides and forms capillaries or glomerulus. Okay, these are known as glomerulus. Okay, here we can see this is known as glomerulus. Here this is the network of capillaries. We can say that the afferent arteriole goes here in the Bowman's capsule, further divides and forms the network or a chain of capillaries, and these capillaries are generally known as glomerular capillaries or glomerulus. Okay, so here we can say that these arterioles further divide and form capillaries, and these capillaries are known as glomerulus. Okay, then these capillaries form a knot of capillaries. Okay, they form a knot of capillaries. So here, as I told you, these afferent arterioles further divides and form the glomerulus, and these glomerulus unite to form these afferent arterioles. Okay, let me mention the glomerular capillaries form efferent arterioles, means the glomerular capillaries join together or unite together and then they form afferent arterioles. Okay, and these afferent arterioles form the network of capillaries around the renal tubule. Okay, these network of or we must say these afferent arterioles form a network of capillaries around the renal tubule. Okay, they form the network of capillaries around the renal tubule. Fine. So this is all about the functioning of afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole. Now here we can see that I must say that the diameter of afferent arteriole is more than the efferent arteriole and the capillaries. Okay, this is the reason that the blood flows at a very high speed. Okay, let me mention the diameter of glomerular capillaries is much less than afferent arteriole, and the diameter of efferent arteriole is also less than afferent arteriole. Okay. So as a result, blood flows at a very high speed. As a result, the blood flows at a high speed in the glomerulus, Okay, and the result of this high speed flow of blood, or we must say that the result of high hydrostatic pressure, the plasma, it causes the plasma to ooze out from the glomerulus to the Bowman capsule. Okay, as a result, the high hydrostatic pressure adds filtration. Okay, it causes filtration, or it adds filtration. And causes the plasma to ooze out from the glomerulus to the Bowman's capsule. Adds filtration and causes the plasma to ooze out from the glomerulus to the Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule. Okay. Fine. So along with this plasma, some inorganic molecules of urea also move from glomerulus to the Bowman's capsule, and the rest of the things like WBC, RBC platelets remains there in the glomerulus. Okay, let me mention, along with the plasma, organic and inorganic molecules of urea amino acid also move to the Bowman's capsule. Okay, they also move to the Bowman capsule. The RBC, WBC platelets, they remain in the glomerulus. Okay, rest material or rest elements like RBC, WBC remains in the glomerulus. Okay, this is the complete process of ultrafiltration. Now we will talk about the reabsorption. Next is reabsorption. Second process is reabsorption. Okay, so whatever the essential substances are there, as I told you that the blood then flows into the renal tubule. Okay, then what happens? Then whatever the essential substances are there, then they are absorbed here in the proximal convoluted tubule, because the microvilli are present there in the tubule. When I told you the structure of nephron, that time also I explained you that the microvilli are present here in the proximal convoluted tubule, which is also known as PCT. So these microvilli helps in the absorption of these essential substances. Okay, let me mention reabsorption. It takes place in the PCT because microvilli are present there. Microvilli are present there. Okay, so thus we can say that the reabsorption of essential substances takes place here in the PCT. Okay, so we can mention the reabsorption of essential substances takes place in renal tubule, means in PCT, in renal tubule. Okay, especially in PCT, which is the part of renal tubule. So these are the two parts. Now another third part is tubular secretion. So what is tubular secretion? Means whatever the waste materials are there, they are secreted by the tubules out of the body. Then this is the reason it's known as tubular secretion, and it takes place here in the distal convoluted tubule. Let me mention unwanted substances of the capillaries. Third one is tubular secretion. Okay, so the unwanted substances or unwanted materials which are secreted by the tubules, or we can say which are present there in the capillaries, they are secreted by the tubules, and this is the reason it's known as tubular secretion. Okay, so here let me mention passage of unwanted substances of capillaries from the tubule, passage of unwanted substances of capillaries from the tubule in the form of secretion is known as tubular secretion, is known as tubular secretion, and generally it takes place in the DCT. Generally it takes place in the DCT, means distal convoluted tubule. So this is the complete mechanism of excretion or complete mechanism of nephron, that how they work, how they filter the blood and form the urine. So hope the working of nephron, as you know that the nephron is the structural and function unit of the kidney, and the kidney helps to clean the blood which comes from the heart, and it helps to form the urine. Urine is the generally a waste product of the body, Okay, so here we can say that all those function is performed by the nephron, and which nephron is the structure and function unit of the kidney. So this is the complete mechanism, or we can say this is the complete working of nephron, which completes into the three parts: ultrafiltration, okay, then reabsorption and tubular secretion. So hope everything is clear to you. Thank you.